Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da da da. Yada da 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 da. Yada da yada da 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 da. Yada da 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 da. Yay die die, yay die 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 die.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody, on this beautiful evening. The day started out a little bit cold and wet and is ending in such a beautiful early fall kind of way that I wanted to be outside. We as Reformed Jews, of course, I was going to say normally observe 7 days of Sukkot or of week-long holidays, but I think as Reformed Jews, we get to decide. And since this is my most favorite holiday, I'm going to be very traditional and go 8 days. So I am sitting in front of our sukkah, and I welcome you all to be here virtually as we enter into Shabbat together and remember how fragile and beautiful our world is and how strong it is made by our community. So I would like to introduce Lindsay Bronig, the president of our board of trustees, to share a few words of welcome for Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm so happy to see everybody here. It's so nice when the high holidays are over and we all kind of breathe a sigh of relief and come back together for just our regular Shabbat services. And today is a special one for me because it's the yard site for my mother who died in 2013. So I'm very happy to be here with all of you tonight. Welcome.
Thank you. Reminds me as we think of Ushpizin coming into our sukkah, of our guests coming in, that we welcome in the generations that brought us here. It's a beautiful holiday, and tonight after services we'll have Yizkor to remember all of those who came before us, who continue to inspire us. So Lindsay, may your mom's memory always be a blessing, as I know it is to you and to your family. I'm Rabbi Jessica Zimmerman Graf, and I'm here tonight leading services with Cantor Toby Glaser, who is in our sanctuary and lets us feel like we're together in our spiritual home a little bit. It is a pleasure to invite the Pelsner family, known to many of us from the front office of Sherith Israel, where Jerry has welcomed so many people, and Judy and Sarah have been everywhere in the community, building community. Sarah's in our Kolenu choir, and tonight we celebrate a special occasion in your family's life. So will you tell us a little something about what we're celebrating? And I don't know if these are very special candlesticks. They're beautiful, but is there something about them that you wanted to share with us?
No, there really isn't. They were my grandmother's, so they're old and well-traveled, but there's no special story except they've been, part of my family for a very long time.
Lovely. And this week you celebrate a big anniversary, I understand.
39 years.
Mazal Tov. Many happy and healthy years ahead. So in honor of all of that and the generations of your family which bring you here, would like to invite you to light our Shabbat candles. And if you have Shabbat candles at home, please light them also. Cantor Glaser will lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
As we bring the light of Shabbat into our eyes and into our souls, we welcome the angels of Shabbat to join us in our community, extended as it is around the city. So we join together in words of Lecha Dodi as we welcome the angels to become part of our Shabbat celebration.
Oh, and before we start, I would like to make a special announcement. We are again doing this beautiful setting of Lecha Dodi by Alana Arian, and Alana Arian will be joining us later this month on the 30th of October and again in November. So get very excited, and she's going to be sharing some of her wonderful music and her artistry and her spirituality with our community. So her setting of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שדברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת קבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Usually at this time in our service, as we welcome the angels, we welcome one another. But we're going to hold off on our breakout rooms until a little bit later. We'll have a chance to study something and welcome each other together in a few minutes. So we'll continue now with the Baruch Hu as we call out as one community. We say we're warmed up. We stand here together.
Yada da da da, 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 yada da da da. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yada da da da, 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 yada da da da.
We take a deep breath and let the fresh air come into our lungs, exhaling this kind of crazy week. I keep saying it can't get crazier, but it keeps getting crazier. So let's leave the week and all of the things in the outside world behind as we really allow ourselves to go into a calmer, more peaceful space of rest and relationships, whether we talk to people by phone or in person or go for a walk in nature with someone. Shabbat is really about reconnecting with ourselves and with one another.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Always when we come together as a Jewish community, we remember our freedom and the possibilities that it affords us every day to choose how we will live our lives. We join together in Michamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. ונאמר כי ברא אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We ask God to shelter us under a sukkah of shalom, a sukkah, fragile space of peace that we appreciate and recognize every day as we find ourselves sheltered from the elements and from some dangers out there in a fragile world. So we join together in words of Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 Amen.
We set our intention, each of us, as we come to this space from someplace very different. For some of us, this was a good week, a week of celebration, a week of wonderful friendships. And for others, it was a really difficult week, a painful week, and one of isolation. So we bring all of those feelings with us as we come together and prepare to stand before God. We set our own intention, our own kavanah, as we stand up individuals together as one community.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue with a few moments of silent prayer from our own hearts.
יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
So as promised a few minutes ago, we're going to try something a little bit different tonight. It might turn out to be a good idea. It might turn out not to be a good idea. We'll see. But I wanted to give everybody an opportunity not only to greet one another, which I think is so important as we build community in this time when we can't actually walk over and hug each other. Still, our community is so strong and so vibrant, and we've continued to build new relationships and to deepen the relationships that we have. And so an opportunity to speak with one another in breakout rooms is partly that, and also a great opportunity to look at a text together. So this text tonight is adapted from the Babylonian Talmud from Tractate Sukkah. And I really enjoyed looking through this over the course of the last week and wanted to share a little bit of this with you. In years past, we've sometimes read the text about whether you can use an elephant as a wall of a sukkah. That is not what we're going to look at today, but it's from a similar part of the Talmud. And the Mishnah begins, the Talmud is the law code from about 1500 years ago, made up of the Mishnah, which is the early part, and the Gemara, all made up of rabbis in deep conversation and debate about what the right way is to observe any of the laws that were being developed. So this begins, and you'll have a chance to have the text in front of you in just a minute, but it says, chief among the commandments performed during Sukkot is the commandment from which the festival derives its name, dwelling in the sukkah, a hut-like enclosure in which we must eat and sleep over the course of the holiday. The Talmud establishes the dimensions and other physical properties of a valid sukkah. So I see that Gordon put in the chat over here a document that you should be able to click on to download. In just a moment, you will go into breakout rooms where you'll maybe know people, maybe won't know people. Please introduce yourselves to everybody who's in there so that everybody has a chance to talk and say hello. And then there are a few bits of information about the construction of Sukkot and some questions to think about what the importance is of a sukkah or what we get out of being in a sukkah, why the requirements about the heights and sizes of things in the sukkah might be important. And if you get through the first couple of questions, there's an extra credit question involving a camel at the bottom. So let's see how this works. Gordon, can you help us shuffle along, and we'll be back together after everybody's had a chance to introduce themselves and talk a little. So maybe we'll try like something like eight or 9 minutes maybe in our breakout room, so we can
8 or 9 minutes it is.
read the text together. Thank you.
Here we go.
I hope you guys all had a chance in whatever groups you were in to talk a little bit about this, or if not, then about something else really interesting. when we are together, I'll just report back a couple of things from our group that maybe you all talked about, just this notion coming after Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur of being reminded of the balance between something that is permanent enough where you feel safe and comfortable, and also temporary enough where we're always reminded of the fragility of life and the need to build community and keep working. So that is where we find ourselves in the Jewish calendar and in the world at large. And I think in life, it's important for us to remember these lessons of Sukkot. Maybe that's why I love this holiday, or maybe it's the pumpkin. I don't know. We continue now with Misha Berach as we say a blessing for healing and wholeness for all those in our community who are in need of our prayers and our love. On this Shabbat, we remember in our community Shoshana Hannah Asher, Dr. Elliot Eisenberg, William Kurian, Lenore Levin, Shane Olson, Carolyn Stellman, Avram Ben Alter Ben Sion, and those whom you mention now in the chat or out loud where you are. We send wishes for refuah shlema, a complete and speedy healing of body and of mind and of soul.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha imotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
When we come together as a community, we also share wonderful simchas, machot, happy things that are happening in our lives. I wish we could be together to share these, but I invite you to share wonderful things in the chat so that we can all join together with you in celebrating. Thank you, God, for giving us life and sustaining us and enabling us to reach this very important time in the lives of all of us. Cantor, will you lead us in Shehechianu?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyemanu v'higianu la'zman hazeh. Amen.
We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam uvracha, may their memories be a blessing. On this Shabbat, we remember Gail Grinbaum, who is a beloved friend and mentor of Jonathan Dimmock's, who died just yesterday. If you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, please stand where you are or put a name into the chat. For Shloshim, On this Shabbat, the first 30 days of mourning, we welcome Joseph and Gav, who are saying Kaddish with our community for the first time for Joseph's mother, Laura Amster. We remember also Yvette Balafi, Diane Byrne, Robert J. Pincus, Ernestine Waters Weiss. The perpetual memorials in our congregation are Judith M. Escalante Melvin and Art Rosenberg. For the first year of mourning, if you are observing that, please share a name now. The Yahrzeit anniversaries on this Shabbat are Luba Barblot, Abse Barblot, Isaac Deller, Lillian Deller. Oh, my list is incomplete. Cantor, do you have the list in front of you? I will pull up the list.
Sorry, I don't.
I'm so sorry, this list is not complete. Give me 1 second so I can read the full list. The names I have here are Luba Barbalat, Avse Barbalat, Isaac Deller, Lillian Deller, Emil Rothenberg, Harry Rubenstein, Arthur Schwartz, Yetta Sedway, Evelyn Schwiff, Alex Temkin, Pauline Temkin, Alan Wasserman, Morris Wexler, Harvey Weiner, and Samuel Zigman. If there's a name that was inadvertently omitted, or there's someone else that you're thinking of on this Shabbat, please share a name in the chat so that we can remember all of those who came before us and help us to arrive at this very important day. Thank you for adding those. I'm seeing them in the chat, and I apologize for a list that's missing a column. We remember all of our beloved family and friends whose memories continue to inspire all of us. And in honor of their memories, we join together in the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala ubisman kari ve'imru amen. Heshme Rabbah mevarach le'alam olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha brichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehesh lama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel and all the world. And we say together, amen. Immediately following services, we will have a very short Yizkor service, which is traditional during the Shalosh Regalim, the 3 festival holidays, and of course on Yom Kippur afternoon, that are found throughout the year. Yizkor means literally to remember, and it is a Jewish obligation and tradition to remember our loved ones throughout the year. So if there is someone whom you remember, who you have lost, who remains in your heart, please stay with us for a few minutes following services for a short Yizkor service. Just a couple of announcements. Tomorrow morning, there is Torah study at 9:15 with Rabbi Phelps. She decided to take a look at Vizot HaBracha, which is the tiny little end Torah portion that never gets its due. It gets read mainly for Simcha, really only for Simchat Torah, and will be read again on Sunday morning. But because it doesn't often get talked about, because it was Tracy Boxer-Zill's Bar Mitzvah Torah portion, because it's a wonderful bit of text that comes at the very end of our Torah and leads us back again into a new cycle of Torah. Rabbi Phelps decided to talk about that tomorrow. So please join friends and congregants for that discussion. On Sunday morning, we have a special Simchat Torah celebration, which is for adults. It will take place parallel to Studio, which is our kid program, and the kids will join for a special tefillah, for a special service, followed by some learning with Cantor Glaser, with Rabbi Phelps, who are going to be teaching some Torah chanting and some words of Torah. Cantor Glaser, would you explain just a little bit about what you're planning to teach?
Yes. So yeah, the 10:30 service is kind of all ages. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to dance and boogie with the Torah as much as the digital world allows. And then at 11 a.m., I'm going to be teaching a little bit about the history of trope, the point of trope, trope meaning the little squiggles, the symbols that we find that teach us how to chant Torah. So kind of a half-hour crash course in Torah trope, and Rabbi Phelps is going to be speaking a little bit and teaching a little more about Simchat Torah. So very excited.
Please join us for that. One of the wonderful opportunities that comes from being on Zoom together is that we actually get to try different things. And so we're trying this year on Sunday morning, and hope that you will join with us for an hour and a half. It's 10:30 to 12. Is that right, Cantor Glaser? Is that what you just said? So 10:30 is the service, 11 o'clock, study from 11 to 12. And we look forward to seeing many of you there. Any other announcements? A lot of people have been working very hard to get out the vote. Please help people vote. Please vote. Vote soon. Vote often. Just kidding. Vote. Vote once, but vote for the right candidate. Anything else, Gordon, that we should say during announcements?
No, now that we've tread right up to the Johnson Amendment line, let's just take a step back.
I said vote for the right candidate.
And as I said, just up to
That
the
is
line.
in your heart, you know who that person is.
That's right. You didn't
But if
cross
you'd like my advice, please give me a call. I'll be happy to discuss that with you further at another time when Gordon's not listening. Cantor Glaser, anything else?
No, let's bring in some peace with Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
Okay, before Kiddush and Motzi, sure.
No, let's not do that. Let's do Kiddush and Motzi. Yes, absolutely. That's a good plan as well.
And before Motzi, let's bring in our wedding couple. Chelsea and Matthew, are you out there? I thought I saw you somewhere here on this Zoom little boxes. Gordon, can you find them anywhere? Oh, there they are. Hi, guys. So we are, hello. We are really excited to be able to be with you, and would love you guys to introduce yourselves to the community. You've met a lot of people, and kind of soon after you came into the community, this crazy COVID thing sent us out into cyber world. So you've met some people, and there are many more wonderful people to meet. You guys among them, for many of the people on this service who don't know you yet. So will you tell us a little something about yourselves, and then we'll tell us what you're doing next week too.
So I'm Chelsea, and this is my fiance Matthew.
Hi, everybody.
We are getting married in exactly 7.5 days. We will be getting married next Saturday evening. I started attending Sherith Israel about a year ago, and have been working since then on my conversion. And Matthew was born Jewish. He was a born member of the tribe. And so we will be having a Reformed Jewish ceremony next week. And right now we are visiting my parents in preparation, doing all of the last minute wedding things in San Luis Obispo.
And we are gonna actually have a Zoom
Oh yeah.
wedding. So if any of you would like to watch and partake, you can go to our website. We'll have the streaming link. Lovekamkarsall.com.
Matthew's last name is Kamkar, and we thought we were really clever, and then COVID happened, and now we think we're really clever with that name.
Excellent. Throw it up in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, and then someone asked, is food being served? Oh, at our wedding? Well, definitely not virtually. Food is being served by masked vendors, and so we've taken a lot of like COVID precautions. We originally had invited about 200 guests. Mathew is Persian, so there was lots of people to invite, and now we will be having about 60 people. No Grubhub.
200 is a really tiny Persian wedding, I gotta say.
All right. Now we're down to 60.
We are thrilled to be able to be a little part of your wedding, and we look forward to welcoming you back to San Francisco and Congregation Sherith Israel as a newly married couple. I want to share these words with you. And actually, do you have a Kiddush cup there?
We do. This is we bought a set because we didn't have our own, so we have a set now to start our own family traditions, and this is one of them.
Beautiful. So tonight, I want to give you this blessing, which you will hear part of again under your chuppah next week. And it will be the first time, maybe, I'm not sure if you've used this Kiddush cup before, but I hope you will always remember that you received your first blessing with this Kiddush cup, and then you will have it again with you under your chuppah. And we pray for many, many simchas to come ahead in your lives every time that there's a wonderful happening, that you should use this Kiddush cup, and also for regular Shabbatot, for the regular bricks of the walls from the open sides of your chuppah and your sukkah that you will build together as you go forward in your married life. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of joy and gladness, bride and groom, love and kinship, peace and friendship. O God, may there always be heard in the cities of Israel and the streets of Jerusalem the sounds of joy and of happiness, the voice of the groom and the voice of the bride, the shouts of young people celebrating, and the songs of children at play. We praise you, our God, who causes the bride and groom to rejoice. Baruch atah Adonai mesameach chatan im hakala. May you begin on an amazing journey together that will take you ad me'av isrim to 120 years of picking up each other's socks from the floor. So if you will lift up your Kiddush cup, and everybody else out there who has a Kiddush cup, we join in the blessing of this time for this bride and groom, and for all of us a wonderful Shabbat, as we wish you a huge, huge mazel tov, and look forward to hugging you in person soon. Cantor, will you lead us in Kiddush?
Yes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
L'chaim, to life. Even in times of struggle, we continue to celebrate. Mazal Tov. And if you have a challah, please hold up your challah so we can all take a look. There we go. I see some out there. Beautiful, beautiful, amazing. Good job. Cantor Glaser.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Wish you a wonderful, happy, healthy, peaceful Shabbat of rest. So Gordon is going to invite those of us who would like. Oh, no, we didn't sing Od Yavo Shalom, and we certainly need some peace. Hey, let's not leave without some peace. Let's do that. Following Od Yavo Shalom, Cantor, which Cantor Glaser will lead us in, Gordon will invite us to separate out if we would like to for the Yizkor service. So please remain on if you would like to stay for that. And if not, you can wish each other Shabbat Shalom and hug virtually.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Shabbat Shalom again.
Shabbat Shalom, and I want to apologize again for not having a full Kaddish list here in front of me, but I'm delighted that so many of you were able to put names into the chat so that we could honor a loved one with you. Look forward to seeing many of you in our Yizkor service in just a few minutes. Shabbat Shalom.
So what we'll do now, if you would like to stay for Yizkor, stay put. Otherwise, we wish you a Shabbat Shalom and look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Torah study, and then again on Sunday for Simchat Torah. And then we'll start our Yizkor service in about 3 minutes. Okay, Cantor, I think we're ready to roll when you're ready to roll.
Excellent, no problem. I think our rabbi was going to introduce our service, but that is not a problem. We can start with some psalm settings.
Oh no, by all means, let's not pass over the rabbi.
I'm here and I don't feel passed over at all, but I want to see. Oh, okay. If I click on the right button, I see a lot of people are here. Okay. So everybody who is here, hopefully this is like getting on an airplane, right? Our flight is going to
Yizkor, all 47 of you, which is a prime number, I believe.
I hope that you are in the service where you want to be. We come together, as I said, during 3 festivals a year. And on Yom Kippur, I think it's a very beautiful Jewish tradition that we are commanded not only throughout the year on particular times to remember people, but Judaism acknowledges that, of course, we remember our loved ones throughout the year in all kinds of places, in the grocery store, and when we're walking and see a beautiful butterfly, and when we're having a quiet moment sometimes, or just a laugh when a word reminds us or a fragrance reminds us of someone that we love. It happens to us throughout, but Judaism requires us to take specific time during the holidays to remember the loved ones who are not with us. Holidays are particularly difficult moments to be without a loved one, and also they mark time. They mark time for us in Judaism, and the marking of time is extremely important. We know we come together every Shabbat, and we come together for holidays that tell us exactly where we are in the year. Judaism doesn't allow very much time to go by without the remembrance of the loved ones whose values and whose lives continue to inspire us in everything that we do. And so at the end of Sukkot, it is traditional for us to gather to say the names and to remind ourselves how it is that we came here and who it is that we continue to love so much, even as they are no longer with us in person. And so we join as one community at this difficult moment in our year to support one another. And I wish we could be together in the sanctuary in person, but here we are supporting one another as we remember so many who came before us. Cantor?
We begin with recitations of Psalms, which is traditional for a Yizkor service, with a setting of Psalm 121. I will read in the English first. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian. Adonai is your protection at your right hand. The day by day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm. God will guard your life. Adonai will guard your going and coming, now and forever. Amen. Esainai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri ezri me'im Adonai עושה השמיים והארץ. אל ייתן למוט רגליך, ואל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא יישון. הנה לא ינום ולא יישון. שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך. אדוני צילך. על יד ימינך. על יד ימינך. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע. ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד And our other psalm that we're going to recite today is Psalm 16, verses 8 to 11. Shiviti Adonai. I am ever mindful of Adonai's presence. God is at my right hand. I shall never be shaken. So my heart rejoices, my whole being exults, and my body rests secure. For you will not abandon me to Sheol, or let your faithful one see the pit. You will teach me the path of life. In your presence is perfect joy. Delights are ever in your right hand. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid, ki mini bar emot. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid, ki mini bal emot. Lachen samach libi, ויגל כבודי, אף בשרי, אף בשרי, ישכון לבטח. אף בשרי, אף בשרי, ישכון לבטח. Amen.
I want to read a few verses from Kohelet. It's the traditional reading on Sukkot, but it is also something which is read often at a funeral. It reminds us of the time in life to celebrate and also to mourn of the inevitable cycle of our own time. As I read these words, I invite you to share names in the chat of people whom you are remembering on this evening, and maybe even just one word that is a value or a lesson or something important that you hold everywhere you go from this person. So we'll share as one community as I read these words of Kohelet. For everything there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted. A time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. We'll take just a couple of moments of silence as we read over these names and these beautiful values, as you remember something about your loved ones that you hold so dear and that you want to continue to remember throughout the year. And in just a few moments, Cantor Glaser will sing for us the beautiful and haunting words of El Malei Rachamim, in which we ask God to shelter the souls of those whom we love so much under God's wings, even as bodies return to the earth. We Jews believe that the souls of those people who came before us remain with us and continue to inspire us and to teach us as their lives become blessings to all of us.
El malei rachamim, shochen bamromim, עמסי מנוחה נכונות תחת כנפי השכינה. עם קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מסעירים לנשמת יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם. בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן.
Since we said Kaddish together in the service just a few minutes ago, it is traditional to end now with words of Oseh Shalom as we ask God to bring peace to those whom we loved so much and to invite their souls to bring peace to all of us and to continue to inspire us. I encourage you all to read through the wonderful and really beautiful words that have been written in the chat as these incredible values and spirits continue to inspire and to be an enormous part of our community.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael ועל כל יושבי תבל עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן ואמרו אמן ואמרו אמן ואמרו
Amen. May the memories of all of these righteous people be a blessing. Shabbat Shalom to all of you.
Shabbat Shalom.